Hi everyone, you're watching Good for the Game TV. It's time for our Stage 9 betting preview of the Tour de France. We'll also have a look at what happened in Stage 8 and the latest classification betting. Well, before you do anything else, if you are a cycling fan, if you like betting previews, or you're just in general a sports betting fan, then go down below, hit the subscribe button, and you won't miss any of our videos. Well, it was a day where I expected plenty of action. I've got to say that there wasn't as much as I thought, especially initially, when a fairly small break got away. I won't say a weak break because, my goodness, it wasn't a weak break. You had four very tough men in there. But at the end of the day, I had expected a break of somewhere around 12 to 15 riders to go away. It wasn't the case. You had guys who were no threat to the yellow jersey. And, of course, one of them was Thomas de Gent. He's so often on the front of breakaways. Alternatively, he's working for his sprinter, pegging back a breakaway. This guy's an incredible hard worker. He has had some great victories over his career, but gee whiz, I didn't think he had a chance in this stage. He wasn't really on my shortlist. You always look at him, but you know the way he's been riding, he has been pulled back in a lot of the breaks he's been in, and I just didn't give Thomas de Gent a hope. Anyway, he got away clear with three other riders, including the likes of DeMarchi, who's another breakaway specialist, and eventually it was just down to the two of them. There were some strange tactics by the other teams. Sunweb and Bora clearly fancied getting Matthews and Sagan into the hunt, but they left things rather late to start pegging the break back. They never really let the break get more than 5 minutes, but they took a while to peg it back. And then, suddenly Astana came to the front and worked really hard. And that's when I started getting involved in running, because I thought, who are Astana working for? And Lutsenko was the obvious answer. And I grabbed 100 to 1 at Sunbet. And just after that, he shortened 25 to 1. Then he went 7 to 1. But of course, he didn't. Eventually ended up on the front of the peloton when all the Astana guys had worked, and he didn't launch on that final climb. Alaphilippe did launch on that final climb, and one bet I took just before the start was that the yellow jersey would change hands at 11 to 10. And that pretty much saved me, because all of my other bets went belly up. They were all small bets, but no real challenge for the stage from me there. Anyway, there we had Thomas de Gent. He held off a flying Thibaut Pinot and Julian Alaphilippe. A thrilling finish, and full credit to de Gent. I didn't have money on him, but I was incredibly happy for a man who works so hard and who really animates cycling. You really do need more people like Thomas de Gent in the peloton. Michael Matthews let the crew home. Peter Sagan, at times, he did look quite under pressure today. He was dropped. I think it was on the penultimate climb, and then fought his way back on. Hard to say if that's going to carry forward at all. And a superb ride by Trentin there in 6th. All the big boys came home together, no GC changes, although Geraint Thomas certainly had a scare at one point when he crashed with 15 kilometers to go, but he had few problems getting back on. That was then a stage which at the end of the day was very exciting, even though initially I didn't feel it lived up to the sort of expectations that I had for some real action. But it was hard-ridden. I must say there must be some really, really tired legs in the peloton. Let's have a look at what lies in stage on Sunday in stage 9. It's another lumpy stage. We don't have as many categorized climbs, and it's certainly not as difficult as Saturday's stage. But with Saturday in the legs, we could have a very interesting stage here as well. Once again, I would have to say the break is the favorite to win here. If we have a look, they start off with a very quick descent out of town and then go up a non-categorized climb, which to me looks pretty darn difficult. Looks like it could be, about 8 or 9 kilometers, probably at about 4.5%, 4%, somewhere around there. And we could have the break forming there. I don't think it's going to form on the downhill. We could have the break forming there. It could form on this Cat 1 climb, 3.2 kilometers at 11%. Now, that is incredibly steep. And we could have it form here. And the question is, what is the composition of the break going to be? I do think we're going to get a pretty strong break. And I'm also, like Will Newton on Twitter, and I'll just pop across to his Twitter preview now, he does expect some of the sprinters to actually get into the break. And here he's listing some of the guys who could get in. Sagan, Van Avermaet, Trentin, Cobrelli, Bosenhagen, Matthew Staven, Wout van Aert. He also makes note of the point that it is Bastille Day in France, so the Frenchmen are going to be all over the front of this peloton. Though these aren't all Frenchmen, he's got Skeins in there as well, but he's listed a number of guys who might well try and infiltrate the break, and you'll see one or two of those names are going to be in my staking plan as well. Back to the profile, and we have a look. The break will probably be away by then, and then I expect the break to pull clear. I'll be very surprised if it does. If the break doesn't stick. However, if the break doesn't stick, it will mean that probably some of the sprinters are not involved in the break, and that their teams like Sunweb, Sonny Cobrelli's team, Bahrain Meridia, will work on the front. Bora Hansgrohe may well work for Sagan as well. So we could have those teams pegging break. So it's not impossible we have a sort of a coming together at some stage, perhaps before the final climb here. This Cat 3.6 kilometers at 7.2%. Now, there hasn't been much spoken about this climb. Obviously, it could be a launch pad for an attack, either from the break or from the peloton if it all comes back together. But you saw how tough that final climb was today. And that climb today was, I've noted it here somewhere, that was 1.9 kilometers at 7.9%. So this is another 1.7 kilometers, and it's only slightly less steep at 7.2% versus 7.9. So this is a really tough climb. After a hard couple of days in the saddle, there's going to be riders battling here. Certainly the true sprinters will be absolutely shelled. And the question is whether the likes of Sagan and that can hang in. I'm anticipating, as I said, that the sprinters will get in the break, and that the break will go clear and probably win by a few minutes tomorrow. Although I don't see any riders that are threats to the yellow jersey of Alaphilippe being allowed in. Alternatively, Alaphilippe may well be in the break as well, because he's, of course, going to look for the stage. Although it's not clear to me if the likes of Ineos will let him infiltrate the break, as in theory at least he is a bit of a GC threat at the moment, even though I think we're well aware that he's not going to be there come the business end of the race. That then what could be a very interesting profile. It's difficult to say exactly, as I say, how this stage will be ridden. And another stage where I'm putting down a lot of small bets in the hope of hitting that needle in the haystack. Just popping across there to Will. Let's see what he's gone for in his preview. He's gone for Michael Matthews. He believes Matthews will do it. It was encouraging to see the way Matthews beat the other sprinters for fourth place today. He certainly is strong. He's climbing well. Remember, he prepared for this tour with the purpose of supporting Tom Dumoulin in the mountains, not really sprinting for green jersey points. So he is climbing very well and looking very good at the moment. Let's have a look at the latest outright betting, and I'm going to go to, I think I might be on stage betting here, but let me first go, I'm on the World Sports Betting stage, that's wsb.co.za, and here's the latest outright betting. We've got Geraint Thomas even money. He is odds on in most places, so WSB about the biggest price I've seen on him. Egan Bernal, his teammates 4-1, Pedo 7s, and then you've got 14-1. Volkswagen Alaphilippe 22-1. Don't back him even with your mother's money. Honestly, Alaphilippe has got no chance of winning this race. Nairo Quintana, they're still dangling the 25-1. I actually took some more of it on Saturday morning, and if it's still there on Sunday morning, who knows? I might just help myself again. I cannot resist. Adam Yates, he's drifted out quite considerably, but I would say there could be some value in some of these longer priced riders. I don't think that Ineos Duo are going to have things their own way. Okay, that's the outright betting. Not a lot of interest in the rest of the classifications. I mean, Sagan, he's absolutely cruising towards the green jersey. You'll see there's 1-14. Young rider Bernal is very short at 4-10. If we do have a look at an interesting classification, I guess, would be the King of the Mountains, where at the moment you've got Alaphilippe at 7-2. He was in around the 2-1 mark. And Tommy De Gent, who clearly was looking to pick up King of the Mountain points today, he is 11-2. Warren Buckhill, who hasn't really got going yet, at 13-2. So that's one of the other classifications that could be of interest. Let's go, though, onto stage 9 betting. And I'll stick with WSB. They've got a nice way also of putting out their bets now that they are betting top 3 as well. And here we got Peter Sagan at 33-10. Now, Sagan, I guess you have to say he's a worthy favorite. We know this man can win over all sorts of terrain. I was just a bit concerned by what I saw today of him, in that he was looking to struggle. And could it be that he decides to sit up tomorrow, perhaps let the team work for someone like Schachmann or something like that? I guess he'll go for it, and we'll soon find out. But if I look at that final climb, if Sagan's there with a number of other puncher climber types, I've got a feeling he could be dropped on that final climb. So that 33-10 is not for me. Michael Matthews, that's Will Newton's pick at 8-1. Yes, he must have a strong chance. And you know, he's probably got a chance from the break as well. So he'll have his supporters at 8-1. But like I said, I've taken a view on this stage that it's perhaps more open than the betting suggests. Trentino, who's looked in great shape, he's 12-1. Alaphilippe, 20-1. I think he is going to struggle to win tomorrow. I mean, obviously the yellow jersey and his team are going to struggle to certainly control a break. But I do think they'll let a break without any overall contenders go clear. Wout van Aert, well, he faded a bit today, but he worked hard as always. And tomorrow's stage is not as difficult. So he's definitely a runner there, 22-1. I was certainly tempted by him. Just skimming by some of the others, Sonny Crebrelli is certainly a target at the stage. Lutsenko, who had my 100-1 money on him today, unfortunately he couldn't deliver. And then Alberto Bettiol, I'm sounding a little bit like a stuck record here. but he is 33 to 1. Now, I thought, let's want to actually pop over to where I was doing my best. Now, the betting, unfortunately, there we go. Let's have a look. I'm just going to pop to Sunbet. You get different prices at different bookmakers, so it is worth shopping around. So you'll see BetL there is 33 to 1. And I did see, here we go, 50 to 1 at Sunbet. So I can get 50s there at Sunbet. That's exactly what I'll be doing on BetL. That's not to say that WSB aren't bigger prices on some others. In fact, I am getting a big price on one of my fancies with WSB. In fact, let's go to the Good for the Game page now. I'll be posting this on the Good for the Game forum. You can find a link to the forum below this thread, and you can also find a link to getting onto my Tour de France mailing list. It's just 3 weeks of the year. I send probably 3 or 4 mails a week. Let's go there, and we'll have a look. And I've got BetL 50 to 1 at Sunbet, just half a unit down. Pollitt, I know my mate Chris Sturdy will probably be going for him again. He dropped quite early today, hoping he's saving himself for the stage. He certainly is one of the better climbing sprinters, and he can get 66 to 1 about his chances there at Sunbet. Here we go. Vilmos, he's the Frenchman, of course. I had him today at big odds. He didn't feature, but 200 to 1 at WSB. Well, that's too tempting for me. Half a unit down on him there, and half a unit on him to finish top 3 at 40 to 1. Let's go and just double check that's still there. If I go down the prices to where the 200 to 1s are sitting, and there's quite a few of them, and you can find some other long shots as well. There we go, 200 to 1. I'll be getting on him straight after posting this preview. And then another guy that I thought he looked good the other day, Tom Schoens. He's 100 to 1. Now that price I am getting at Sunbet. He's as short as 50 to 1 elsewhere. Let's just double check that's still available. And I'll be getting that, because I must say one thing: when the cycling betting comes out initially, if you want to grab a price, you've got to grab it quite quickly. It does tend to move as the markets shift, and by the sort of morning of the stage, it's a lot less volatile. There are, of course, also match bets available on the stage. I haven't posted anything yet. One I am leaning towards is Michael Matthews over Sagan there at 15 to 10. Now, I think he can beat him in a sprint finish, although it would be very close between the two. But I also do think there's a chance that Sagan takes a back seat tomorrow. We'll see about that, though. He's such a competitive guy, and so seldom that he actually does that. That's it then as far as the Stage 9 preview goes. We've got a rest day coming up, and join us. We've decided to make the show a bit earlier. Join us at 7:30 South African time, Monday night. We're going to have a live show. I will put the link on our YouTube channel and also out on Twitter. We're going to have a live show, and Will Newton will be joining us, as well as Hendrik Lemmer, who's a cycling commentator as well, based in South Africa, or at least as far as I know. Aside from being on Twitter, we don't know each other very well, but we're going to be joined by him, and Couch Critic, if he's available, will also join us, and we'll talk about what's happened in the tour so far, and also look ahead and decide how we're going to go. And that will be a live show. You'll be welcome to contribute to that. I'll also love to hear who you fancy to win the stage or how it's going to go. Feel free to drop me something in the comments box below. I will have a look at it and will certainly respond as well. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the stage and subscribe to this channel if not already done.